Welcome to Swiss Esports Arena, and in this episode I'm joined by two semi-finalists of this season's Swisscom Hero League. I'm joined by Nits of Babos Gaming and Lynex of mYinsanity, and this episode is the semi-finals recap and the finals prediction episode. So yeah, let's just look at the first semi-finals, which was played last week, which was Babos versus GAIJIN. GAIJIN won 2-0 in the end, and Nits is very happy to give us a quick recap of that series.
Yeah, the quick recap is actually we achieved our goal of getting into the playoffs. We even got to semifinals, and then we got fucked by rigoN. So better luck next time. And yeah, recap done.
So Lynex, you had an outside perspective, and maybe you saw more than just Babos getting fucked by rigoN. So what can you say?
I would also say that rigoN was obviously carrying the team. I think the stats showed up pretty obviously. But I would also say that entire GAIJIN played good. Well, not to say that Babos played bad, obviously, but I still think that GAIJIN on a single-based player level is just on a higher level than most players in Switzerland, obviously. And that combined together with rigoN is just the semifinals we obviously saw against Babos. So I would say GAIJIN just played really good, and rigoN just like Nits said, steamrolled them basically in the end.
So from your own performance, Nits, were you happy with that, or were you disappointed?
I mean, a bit disappointed, but in the end, what can you do against them? They were definitely better, and we didn't prepare like too much or wasted too much time during the season. And yeah, we'll try to better ourselves as always, and try again next time.
So I thought it would be very good to pick Train against a team like GAIJIN, but you didn't do that. Didn't you practice Train, or do you just disagree with me that it wouldn't have been a good pick?
Oh, we were just confident on Mirage and Inferno, but yeah. Last time in the season, they rolled us over like 16-1 and 16-3, and now it's 16-8. Maybe next time 16-14 or even more. I don't know.
Yeah, big improvement to the regular season for sure. So looking at
5 more rounds.
yeah. uh, so in the series, the top fragger for Babos was South, which had some very nice deagle shots, and on the GAIJIN side we had rigoN with like 138 yard. That means 1 and a third kill per round. So player of the series for sure is rigoN, but from both sides, or maybe apart from rigoN, who was the player of the series? Maybe once again Nits.
Actually, I have no idea to answer that question. I didn't even look at the HLTV profile, to be honest. No idea. Probably South then, or I don't know.
Yeah, from your side, South had the most kills for sure. But yeah, okay, then him, Lynex, what did you say? If you can remember.
If we would have to pick someone from Babos, it would be between South and Simu, I think. I think they just played they were the two best players in that semifinals from Babos, in my opinion. If we would have to pick from any other of the 9 players, excluding rigoN, obviously, I still think you'd have to give a second MVP probably to one of the GAIJIN players. It could be Alex or Zed, in my opinion. But that is obviously maybe slightly biased in my opinion for me. But yeah, I think to be fair, it would be one to Babos and one to GAIJIN. So I would say South or Simu, yeah.
So, like you said, Nits, you got pretty much, it wasn't easy to play against rigoN, but did you have any special plans coming into the series against rigoN? Did you think, let's try to avoid him, or maybe even try to focus him? Or did you just hope that he has a bad day or something like that?
Yeah, well, the general plan was to find out where rigoN is and head the other side of the map. That worked out sometimes, but sometimes we found him and he still pushed us and killed us. I don't know. But right now we are like, I don't want to jinx it, but we are cracking pretty hard at the moment. We have a new coach as well, and we hope to develop some strats to outplay people that are stronger individually than us. So next season should be better expectations for us.
Is there anything one of the two of you would like to say about this series? Because if not, we would jump to the next series.
Nope.
Good. Then the other semifinal was CG versus mYinsanity. 2-0 for CG. Now, Lynex, could you give us a quick recap?
Short recap, in my opinion, would be that our T side was very weak on that day, sadly. We didn't get many T rounds, or hardly at all, to be honest. We were fine, or somewhat fine, on our CT side, but obviously, if you only win a certain amount of T rounds, you only have very few. You can only have very few mistakes in your other half, obviously, and that would, in the end, sadly cost us both games. Yes.
Now, Nits, you watch the series as well. What can you remember, or can you say about that series?
Well, Mirage was pretty tight. So, yeah, I actually expected mYinsanity to get that win, but in the end, yeah, they couldn't secure it. And Train, I mean, sometimes the timings were pretty unlucky, I think. But in the end, we saw that CG was the better team there.
Before the series, did you think, what would you have predicted as the series score for CG mYinsanity?
I think mYinsanity should have. I would have predicted mYinsanity to get at least one map, but I couldn't say like mYinsanity or CG wins. But if mYinsanity would have lost, then they should have get one map. That was my thought.
Now, Lynex, what did you think about your own performance? Were you satisfied?
Well, yes or no. In the semifinals, I think my Mirage was okay. Still could have be better. I mean, you can always get more kills, obviously. Our Train T side was so lackluster. I just never got the entry frags, and for a variety of reasons, like timings, and they just pushed us way better. And they had very strong gamble setups as well. Like I think the first gun round they played 5A, like B was just completely open. Not even the smoke was used. Like they played it very good, obviously. So I think I could have played better, obviously, but I think we just need to be a bit realistic and play better next time.
So in this series, we had reezk with almost the rigoN performance. Like he had more kills than rigoN in the series, but rigoN played less rounds in the end. And did you expect him to be this good? Like he is a Swisscom Hero League winner, but this series he was insane stat-wise. Lynex.
I know him personally, so I know how good he is. I obviously played Lance with him already, so I knew he is very good. I would still say it was one of his stronger days, but I knew that he would be a hard player to pass, obviously. I didn't think that he would drop plus 33 kills over 2 maps, to be honest, but I would have expected him to, maybe it's like plus 10, plus 15, which I would think is a normal average score for a good player, you know. But yeah, he had a good day and he completely destroyed us, to be honest.
So Nits, what can you say about that reezk performance? Or what do you think about reezk as a player? Did you think he would be this good to get plus 33, I think, at the end with stat-wise?
Yeah, I don't really know him, but I've seen him play, and I can only say like what I've seen is pretty insane AWPer. He has good aim and knows what to do when positioning is wise. So it was expected for him to like top frag, but yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay, so Lynex, the timings were mentioned, but what went wrong on Train? Because on Train you lost 10, the first 10 rounds you just lost, and then you got a good double kill at the end to win a round, but yeah, the game was almost over by then. So what can you say about, Train?
Like I said, we had some bad timings with either flashes being thrown in our faces, which is obviously well played by them, or them pushing perfectly. And like I said, the 5A gamble setup was also perfectly called. I'm not sure if they prepared or not, since I know they don't practice. It could have been that they just said, oh yeah, YOLO 5A, because they only have, MPs, which in that case would have been a great call, obviously, to them. But I think, yeah, they just out-aimed us in that day, to be honest, and we were just not ready on the T side for their heavy aggressions that they had. I mean, we had no solution to it, really. So, yeah, that was kind of the main problem, in my opinion.
So if you had to choose a player for this series, it would be obviously reezk, but maybe the other 9 players, who would you pick as the MVP?
On Mirage, on CG side, I would definitely pick mYinsanity as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He also had, I think in the end, he also had like 30 kills, and he also had some very strong holds on A. I remember 2 rounds especially where we ran out A ramp and he just killed 3 people fully blind 2 times in a row. And so, okay, like, bit of, well, not luck, a bit of luck as well, but also good positioning and everything. So that was a bit of a bummer for us. So on the CG side, definitely mYinsanity for the second MVP, and on our side, probably me or rigoN, in my opinion.
Nits, who would you choose as an MVP for that series apart from reezk, which is the obvious MVP?
Yeah, I agree with mYinsanity and rigoN. That I can agree.
Is there anything else you would like to say about this series?
No.
Because if not, we can go already to the finals, which is GAIJIN versus CG, obviously. And one of the storylines would be that it's reezk and Nikista against their ex-teammates. And yeah, are GAIJIN the clear favorites, or is it even possible that CG wins? Because CG was the only team to beat GAIJIN during the regular season. But are GAIJIN still the clear favorites? What do you think? Maybe Nits this time first?
I think they are the favorites, but on a good day or a bad day for another one, there's always a chance. So we'll see.
Lynex, what can you say about that?
I think, well, we saw them play in the regular season and they drew against each other, which I found very interesting, to be honest. I didn't expect that. But looking back to the seasons now and how the teams both performed, I would still say GAIJIN is the slight favorite, but I also agree with Nits, obviously. If they have a bad day or CG has a good day, it could be completely different, obviously.
Now for a prediction, what would you predict? Like 2-1 for GAIJIN or 2-0 GAIJIN, or maybe even 2-1 CG, 2-0 CG? Maybe who wants to start? Nits, go first maybe?
It's pretty hard to predict actually, I think. But I would just go with 2-0 GAIJIN. If they like play like they did against us, they will have like pretty good 2-0. But yeah, as I said, or as Lynex said, if CG gets their shit together and tries hard, they could at least win one map, or maybe even get the win. I don't know, but at least one map GAIJIN will get. But I still think 2-0.
Lynex, what would you predict?
I think it's a 2-1 for GAIJIN in the end. I just think that I just have the feeling that CG will get one map. And I agree with Nits that GAIJIN will get one map, but I also agree that I also think obviously that CG will get one map. But I think in the end, GAIJIN will win 2-1.
Now for CG to win the series, what would have to happen? Like just rigoN having a very bad day and all of the CG players having just a very good day, especially reezk just doing the same which he did against mYinsanity. What would have to be the difference maker in this series?
I think that if reezk has a good day once again, he can pick off the players very easily, especially on the CT side. His CT up against us was just very strong, and we just walked out and we were just dead basically. So if they do that against, if CG does that against GAIJIN, GAIJIN against CG, sorry, I think it will be very hard for them. But otherwise, I think every player in the CG lineup is capable of winning every 1v1, in my opinion, against GAIJIN, and vice versa. Obviously, rigoN is the probably best player in Switzerland, or it's pretty clear in my opinion. So I think anyone that goes up against rigoN will have a disadvantage, just percentage-wise of aim, obviously. But they all have a chance to win it, and if they're on point, I see no problem why CG couldn't win it in the end.
Now, Nits, do you agree with that, or do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I agree totally. Maybe something to add. I just think it's going to be a very interesting match to watch because both teams have like similar play styles in their team or lineup. They all play very loose aim-wise and have just like plays to make all over the place. So that we'll see how they correlate to each other.
So what do you think about the maps? Will it be Dust, Mirage, and another very aim-heavy map? Do we have any? Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be some of them. Yeah, like Mirage, Dust, even Inferno. I don't think we will see like Overpass or Nuke or something. It could be a surprise by one of them. I mean, they're obviously capable of playing those maps, but it's just not. I don't think they would get an advantage against each other. At least not if they're not prepared. So I think there will be some heavy aim maps.
Do you agree with that, Lynex? You seem like you are thinking.
I'm thinking. I obviously know both teams, so I've spoken to both of the teams during the seasons, and I know certain map tendencies for them, and I agree we will see aim-heavy maps, but I think we will see one pick that people wouldn't expect is that aim-heavy, in my opinion. I don't want to say which one, because I don't want to ruin it for one or the other side, obviously, but I think we have one standout map. I think we will have one stand-up map, yes. That is not like Mirage or Dust or just run in and get kills. I think one map will be a bit more team-orientated, if we can say it that way.
Would a map like that would be better for CG or for GAIJIN, if it's not that aim-heavy?
Well, that depends. If you obviously practice it, it's the team that practices it is in the lead, or if it's just pure experience on the map, then obviously an overpass, if you know all the rotations because you played it for 20 years plus, then you're better on that map. So in the end, it depends if the teams practice the map or if they're just going off raw experience in the end. So it could go both ways in the end, in my opinion.
Okay. I guess that's even it for the GAIJIN versus CG series. So we predict GAIJIN to win, but there's a slight chance that CG wins, but most likely they will compete, but they won't win in the end, according to our predictions at least. So I guess we can go into a few other questions which I have. One of them would be the third place match. We would have, if there would be one, it would be GAIJIN. No, not GAIJIN. What the fuck? It would be Babos versus mYinsanity. And in this matchup, who would win?
Spicy.
I think I have two different predictions now, so
it's like always about the same rivalry between those players. I think just some players like change in the lineups, but it's always like this rivalry, which is pretty funny. I will go with Babos, to be honest. I'm confident, and yeah, that would be my prediction.
2-0 or 2-1?
I think 2-1.
Okay.
I would obviously say 2-1 mYinsanity, but we're both biased in that opinion. If someone would ask me why, I would just refer them to the scoreboard of the regular season, obviously, where we finished third and they finished fourth. But as we've seen in Cell and in the SHL seasons, and when we played 2 times against each other within a week, I think it was even, we had, I think, Dust and Mirage, and we both vice versa won the games that we didn't pick in the end. So as we saw, in my opinion, it can go really either way, depending on how well prepared one is and one not. So, and I also think that a BO2 is not the same as a BO3. Also because map-wise, because in the BO2 you ban 2 and you ban 2 and then you obviously pick. And in a BO3 you ban 1, and both pick. So I think the map pool would in that case play a big difference. Like if we can play the maps that Babos can and vice versa, that makes a big difference. Yeah, so it would be an interesting match to watch, and it wouldn't be the same outcome as a BO2. It would be definitely very spicy, I admit that. And like I said, the 2-1 from my side or the 2-1 from Nits, we're both confident saying that, but I honestly must as well admit that we obviously could lose it because there's a reason we draw in the season. But yeah, it would be an interesting game.
So who would be the player to watch in that series? I guess I will have some biased answers once again, but
I'll give an unbiased one, to be honest. I obviously think in Babos it's no rules and Breaker. I mean, we have seen in the season they are heavy fraggers. That is only if we're going by pure frags. I've obviously played against Nits and Babos and South and all the lot a few times now. And I think if we look at the entire picture, I also think that Semo South and Nits obviously also have to watch, but not fragging wise, but like they play very strong with the info game, in my opinion, how they get certain control of an area or get certain information, which I was to be honest was impressed about in the seasons. not in a very good way actually. I didn't think that they would do that. It was very good. It was very coordinated. I was surprised. And from our side, it would everyone says Sherby and rigoN obviously. I think that is also fair. But if I have a good game, I think I could also make some frags, but I'm just entry frag. I'll just run in and die for whoever wants to gets my trade frag in the end. I don't care about the stats. And yeah, as long as the team wins, it's a win for me as well.
And do you have some praise for mYinsanity as well when you are choosing the player of the series?
Shane just like he said everything I just thought, and I cannot add anything because I agree. So yeah, I agree 100%.
Perfect, I guess. Perfect. So I think even last question would be if we look at the whole Swisscom Hero League season, who would be the top 3 or maybe top 5 players? Just overall top 5 players.
Are we only allowed to pick one player per team, or can we pick multiple players per team?
I guess multiple players per team would be fairer, I guess. If it's the 5 best players, they will be not in the lower teams, rather.
Okay, I think some guy from the ESL posted that they are collecting all the stats from the season. I think me as well tweeted under that we would like to see the stats in the end of the season, because I think it would be really interesting. I think if we go ADR wise, I think would be probably the best in my opinion, like with pure damage per round. Well, obviously rigoN would be at the top. I also think that what we saw in the semifinals, that Nikista and rigoN were very high up in the ADR with like 85 plus or whatever. I think the other ones of the teams were at 75 to 80. I will also pick a Babos player between Breaker and No Rules. I don't know I don't know all the stats obviously, but I think one of those two will really make it up there, because they had like against Arctic Gaming, they had a very, very strong showing. So one of them would definitely be up there. So we have all the semifinalists. We have one finalists. Who's the 5th player?
Probably I would put reezk up there as well.
Yeah, now especially after that semifinal, I think reezk would also be up there. So yeah, reezk, Nikista, who do we say? mYinsanity, rigoN,
and Breaker, No Rules.
Breaker, maybe rigoN as well.
Oh, rigoN,
yeah. I will put those up there. Yes.
But in a top 3, we would put then rigoN first for sure, and then reezk, or someone else.
rigoN is for sure first. But I remember when we played our semifinals game, they showed the highest ADR player of both teams at that point, which was Nikista and rigoN for us. So I'm not sure if Nikista would still be up there after the monster performance of reezk. So it would definitely be, well, rigoN, and then top other two players will be between GAIJIN and CG players again. So, but it will be hard to say which one over the entire seasons.
Okay. Well, no, let's just finish so that we have a real list of 3 players. So let's just go with, yeah, we have rigoN first and reezk, and the third player. Now, not just ADR wise, but just from the eye test, the third best player.
From the entire season?
That's a hard question.
That
sure,
actually is. Maybe
another GAIJIN player.
It could well be Alex. Sure. Yeah. It could well be an Alex or an Osama or a Zed. And everyone in the GAIJIN lineup could be up there easily, in my opinion. But everyone plays their role, so that's why they win in the end. I will just say I'll put in rigoN, reezk, and mYinsanity just because of how they played against us in the semifinals. For me personally. But it could well be different, obviously.
Nits, would you agree with that? Or would you choose someone else for the third?
I think I would just agree for like to not overcomplicate stuff, and really I wouldn't know who to say else.
Yeah.
Like Lynex said, it could be anyone from GAIJIN lineup. I think I just agree.
Okay, good. Yeah, actually that's all. And I guess because we're at the end, is there anything any one of you would like to say? Maybe Lynex, you want to shout out the next pool stream, or Nits? I don't know.
Next pool stream is hopefully coming very soon. I'll announce it on my Twitter, guys. Don't worry.
Anything else? Nits? You can say everything, not just shout out the stream or something.
Nothing from me.
Just like in the other video which we did.
Yep.
So clean and simple.
Good. Then if there's nothing from you guys, then I will thank you both for being here. And yeah, also to the viewers, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it a lot. I hope you liked it and enjoy the finals on the 8th, right? Next Saturday.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Good. Then yeah, thanks for being here, and yeah, see you next time.